Okay, Sunday night team Zoom. Who's excited? I love it. I love it. Okay, welcome. So, my name is Stephanie. For those of you who do not know, I'm not the only one that's going to be talking. If you're brand new, welcome. So, a part of something super fun with Zooms is you can see everybody. So, if you are dressed, if you're not on the toilet or in the shower, which we've had people do that before, you can turn your camera on and you can see all of us. We would love to see your face as long as you are presentable. There is a chat box on whichever side it might be on your computer, and so you can always type in questions right there. There's a lot of brand new people that joined, especially with all the fun things that Prove It has been doing with joining and promotions and promoter conversations, and so I think it's awesome. So what we're going to dive into is we're going to talk about what it really looks like just to launch your month. I've actually have the opportunity, so we live right across the street. From Brian Underwood. So Brian Underwood is our CEO, if you don't know that. And we live right across the street. So I often can hear him rolling down the road in his really loud car. He'll honk at us like at midnight. I'm not kidding. And I'm like, you're going to wake up the entire neighborhood. I have all of his children downstairs while I think he's in Wyoming. So anyways, I've been sitting on his front porch the last really couple weeks, but the last couple nights, just hearing him coach other people. And it's so funny because in this industry, right, or on social media, it's so easy to watch what everybody else is doing and compare yourself. It's so easy to watch everybody else's teams or how they're growing their business or what are they doing that I'm not doing? How do I launch my month? How do I end my month? What does that look like? How do I share? How do I launch a promoter? Like, I've just had some really key distinctions. It's so great. And so I called up Mandy and I was like, hey, we should really talk about what it really looks like to launch a promoter because it's not as hard as you think. And just like Brian's really been diving into this conversation of whether it's your first day, it's your first week, you've been here for a couple months or a couple years. What does your business look like if you treat every single day as if it was your first day? Or like, let's say September 1st is today, right? And this is our first month. Like, what would you do differently? Do you have the grit that you had before? If you're brand new, guess what? That's awesome because you could be like ignorance on fire. And so we're going to dive into a couple of those conversations. Really, the first thing that I wanted to start with was, I think I'm going to have Mandy dive into something they've been doing these last couple weeks. We've done a couple of them called 10-10 calls. I want everybody to understand this. And I think if you're not brand new, you know this, but I want you to hear it. And if you are brand new, there is no shortage of tools here. Like we've got videos and tools and trainings and Zooms. Like there's always stuff for you to plug into, but it's the action that you take outside of that, right? You can learn, but until you're putting all of that into action, that's what's going to grow your business. And sometimes we can get so fixated on all of the tools and everything that we have and maybe going, well, Teresa's launching her business different than mine and Renee is launching her promoters differently than me. I want to know her secret, right? When in reality, when we joined, I want everybody to understand, when we joined, there was barely a website. The Facebook page had 10 people on it. We didn't have a campfire video and people thought we were killing people with the word ketones. All I had was an orange packet that had a sticker on it and a mouth. So I don't want people to complicate this. Like anything, there's nothing to complicate except for the fact that raise your hand if you've had an amazing experience on ketones. Me? I'm drinking the Protones right now, by the way. Anybody love the chocolate one? Like I'm obsessed with this chocolate Protone. I love it so much. And so I just want to help people understand maybe the different ways we're going to have a couple other people share how they're building their business, right? Maybe somebody that stays home versus somebody that works full time, and what it really looks like to launch a promoter and what it looks like if today was your day one. So Mandy, do you want to talk a little bit about 10-10 calls and we can kind of just ping pong back and forth?
100%. I would love to do that. How is everyone? Happy Sunday. Thank you for being flexible with us and switching up the times a little bit. We had a bunch of stuff going on in everybody's family, so it really worked out best if we can move it up a little bit. So appreciate that. While I'm talking about 10-10 calls, you all know this is my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. Please tell me what awesome stuff has happened for you in your business since last week and what awesome stuff you are claiming for your business this next week. So please type that in the chat because I just like to hear it. It fires me up. I'm going to open up the chat so I can read it. Why can't I read it? There we go. Yeah, so 10-10 calls. So if you're brand new to Prove It, you might be brand new to Prove It because you were on a 10-10 call. As a matter of fact, Brittany, can you shake your head yes or no? Were you just on a 10-10 call the other day? No? I feel like you were. So somebody that looks just like you was just on a 10-10 call the other day. But I was like, man, that would be such a great story if that's what truly had happened. 10-10 calls have been something that have been really powerful inside of our business. And for those of you that have been here and are building, you know you've got all sorts of different legs in your business, right? So I'm speaking to you from like this bird's eye view of what's happening in my business. When I think of the two groups inside of my team that are moving the fastest, that had the most momentum last month and that had the most growth and that had the most new volume and had the most people hit the MVP multiplier, they are the two teams that are really embracing these 10-10 calls. They are the two teams who have me, Jessica, Ashley, Melissa, Stephanie, just like on calls 24/7 talking to people. And they're really short. They're really fast. Well, sometimes they're long because I'm a yacker, but the intent is that they're 20 minutes or less where we just talk 10 minutes about the product, how to get the best results, 10 minutes about the business and what it can do for you and your family and how you can get started. And it's a part of our launch process, actually. So we'll talk about launching new promoters in just a minute. And when we do, you're going to hear us say that a 10-10 call is a part of that launch for a new promoter. But it's just really, it's kind of based upon this idea. And I know you guys have heard me say this before, and actually we just got off of a launch Zoom where I shared this story. So for the 7 people who heard this 5 minutes ago, I apologize. You're going to hear it again. And some of you have heard this before from me too. If you like won the lottery, right? If you won the lottery and you called up the lottery office and said, I have a winning ticket. Oh my God, they just called my number on the television. I won. And they tell you to flip it over and the back has a little asterisk that says you may collect your earnings, your $1 million earnings when you show up with 4 people, right? Like, who are you going to have on that list, right? You're not going to just make a post on social media that says the next 4 people that comment below get to share my $1 million. No, if I did that, it would be the guy down the street who feels the need to comment on everything I do. I don't want him sharing my money necessarily. Like, I'm going to call up my best friend, my mom, my sister. You know, that's who I'm going to call, right? I'm going to call the people that I love and care about the most. So the idea behind this launch call is to really get your brand new promoter, or this 10-10 call is to really get your brand new promoter, like as a part of their launch, to think about, okay, who are those people? Who are those people that are going to be interested? Who are those people that I care about, that I want drinking the product? Who are the people that have already asked me about the product? Who are the people that I sent 5 and 10 days to? Who are the first 3 people that ordered from me and they're waiting for their product, right? Like, let's get them on the best experience with the product and already thinking about the business before they ever drink their first packet. So that's one way to use a 10-10 call. Another way to use a 10-10 call is really just to, in a way, like Stephanie and I were talking today on the phone, like, this is the first day of the month, but you can treat it like it's the first day of your business, no matter how long you've been here, right? So doing a 10-10 call to just get all of your customers involved, to kind of relaunch, like, who else has been interested? Maybe you're not a brand new promoter and you've been here for a while, but they've been so powerful and so easy. So I know for me, like, I spent a few hours last week doing a handful of 10-10 calls with people and then celebrating with those promoters, like, my new volume. Oh my gosh, I hit multiplier. Like, and the 2 groups that have the most new volume in my entire business are the teams that are taking full advantage of doing 10-10 calls and getting their people in front of someone else besides them. So real quick, Stephanie, I wanted to ask Brittany Nelson if she could just pop on, because she's one of those people that's like below, just, I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure if Jessica and I just sat in front of her computer for 9 hours straight tomorrow, she would have us both loaded up for the entire day on 10/10 calls with people. And in Michael Rutherford's business, Brittany was number 3 or 4 in his entire business for new volume. Like, there's a reason for that, because she's putting all of her potentials in front of somebody else. So I just wanted Brittany to share, like, I mean, even though I kind of already just told you how awesome it has been for her, I just wanted you to hear it from her, like what it's been doing for her and her business. Hopefully she was able to get on. I don't know. We just did a launch call for her. You might be talking to those people. Okay, there she is.
Oh my God. I feel honored, first of all, to be talking about this. And yeah, honestly, you guys, like, I wish I would have started doing 10/10 calls, like, right when I got started with Prove It, because my activity this last month, and I'm not boasting, like, I couldn't have done it without Mandy and Jessica and Nicolette and everybody else on my team, but they are so unbelievable. Like, they're just amazing. And when I get on, like, I've done a couple of them with Jessica and Mandy both, and like, it's just 10 minutes about the product, 10 minutes about the promoter side. But in the beginning, I used to limit myself to who I would invite those to. And now I just don't give a rip about people saying no. And it's just a super quick call for them to hear about like what the product could do. And honestly, I'm just like off the wall excited when I'm on those calls. I think the other day I even like mentioned something about, I don't know, I don't even remember this with Jessica, but they're so powerful, you guys. And literally, like, I'm trying to do 2 or 3 of them a week, even for new promoters or for promoters who are already in the business, or even for customers, because at the end of the day, like, it's like if they hear your excitement and then the people that are maybe interested in hearing the promoting side of it, you just never know who would get involved like within your community. So I just want to say, like, thank you to the support that I've gotten from Jessica and Mandy and Ashley and Nicolette, because at the end of the day, like, I could have these conversations by myself. I've been doing this for 14 months, but there's so much power in just being able to say that you don't know the answer and literally connecting people. I'm a full-time teacher and coach. Like, I don't have time to sit on my phone all day, but the way that this is duplicatable is connect, and then you can talk to somebody else. So if you're trying to do this alone, I'm telling you, you're like missing the beat. And these 10/10 calls, like, incorporate them every single day. If Mandy and Jessica would let me, I'd literally have them on one every night. And they're like, okay, well, we should probably combine some of these because we're not available. So it's amazing. If you're not doing them, like, you need to do them. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it. Oh, I love it. And I love that you brought up the fact, like, you have, like, you're full time, right? Like, so, like, I know that was something that Stephanie wanted to talk about next too, is how different the different things people do to really launch a month or close out a month. And I think that is why these are so powerful, because you do have a full-time job. You're a teacher, you're a coach. Like, sometimes I'm like, how do you even function? If it weren't for ketones, you'd probably be dead on the side of the road. I don't know how you do it all, right? And yet this is what's happening inside of your business because you're using this feature. So I just love it. I wanted you to share your excitement over it. So Stephanie, I don't know what else you wanted me to really talk about 10 calls a week. I didn't want to really go over like a huge outline of what it looked like, but just so people have an understanding, like, reach out and reach up to the people that are supporting you in your business and say, hey, how can I get this done? Or, hey, I have a brand new promoter that I need to launch. Can we set up a call for her potentials? Like, and we'll kind of get into that when we talk about launching the promoter.
Well, I love that. And what I would say is, so now she'll be watching you and Jessica do them. So, like, even if somebody's not available to do it and you've been watching 3, 4, 5 of them, you do it with somebody else, right? Like, the more you watch, then you can be the person that shares about the promoter and promoting aspect, and somebody else shares about the product. All it is stories. Like, you're going to hear Brian say this a lot if you come to the events, which you all should be coming to, but like, facts tell, stories sell. All it is Mandy going on there and sharing her story about why the product changed her life or why the business changed her life and inviting people into the conversation. That's it. So we keep it super simple. And so, especially for the brand new promoters, I know I have someone to reach out to. Like, it's a great way for you to call everybody and get them on. Easy peasy. So I think it was super powerful. I love that you shared, Brittany, that you were full-time, because I said I also wanted people to hear from other people. I'm going to do a couple things. So your goals might not match up with everybody else's goals. That means your activity on here will look different than somebody else's activity. I heard Brian talking on the porch the other day, and he was on the phone with another promoter, and she had gathered a couple people for the end of the month, and they were all together in the same city, closing out the month, okay? Whatever that looks like to you, whatever that means. You might hear people go, we're going to close out the month hard. We're going to close out the month. Let's get together. Let's do it. And she called him, and she was like, I didn't realize. She goes, we were all here together. And she goes, I was the only one working, and everybody was chatting and having fun like it was a get together. And she goes, you know, people can show up on these Zooms. People can watch Brian Underwood's social media. People can, hop on these calls. But if they don't take action, or if they don't know what to do, oftentimes people are sitting at home and they're going, I don't know what it means to close out a month or start a month. Like, what do I do? And everybody's different. Like, we've got people that are like Brittany that are full-time. We've got people that squeeze it into the cracks of their day. Your activity will look different. But like, for example, he was just telling her, like, all you have to do is tell them to talk to people. And if we set up these 10-10 calls, it's a great way to create action so that you don't have to talk to a lot of people. Other people do it for you. So I'm actually going to have, I think she's on, but I have Laura Goodall. Laura, did I say your name right? Laura or Laura? Laura, are you on? And if you are on, you have to unmute yourself.
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
It's Lara.
Laura. Okay. This is Laura's first time talking on this Zoom, right? And so I wanted Laura just to share, Laura, what do you do? Like, tell people what you do. And how are you squeezing the business into your life? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I'm truly squeezing it into the cracks of my day. I'm a licensed massage therapist here in Arizona. And I guess when I first started just drinking the ketones, I really didn't talk about it. But people were coming up to me because they noticed a change in my body and everything like that occurs. It did with me anyways, kind of right away. And but I was breaking down my day a little because I was running out of energy and everything. When the ketones came into my life, I actually upped everything, including my energy. And I started just talking to people. Well, I would send out texts or anything I could. I have 15 minutes in between all my massages. That's how I book. I'm very busy during that time. But I have a little bit of time. Sometimes I start at 7 a.m. in the morning, a lot of times, and I'll book every 15 minutes. I'll squeeze in my workout because I do work in a gym. So I'm actually pretty blessed that way. And I've utilized that more too now that I have more energy. But, and then after work, I started doing lives here and there. I try to do at least one a week, sometimes 2 or 3, depending on how lively I am by the end of the day, which is really increased. I've had, I'll do 5 to 8 massages in a day, and I'll come home and cook dinner, and I'll be in the garage sweating my butt off if it's 110 here in Lake Havasu City, doing a live in my workout clothes still. I don't know. I probably look pretty bad. I don't care anymore because I'm so happy. But yeah, so my business grew. It's been growing, consistently, and I'm really enjoying it. So
I love that. Okay. I wanted people to hear exactly what you said. I wanted them to hear that everybody builds differently. Like, not everybody's at home on their computers, like, that can do this full time. You're a massage therapist, 8 or 9 massages. My husband asked me to massage his back in 5 minutes. My thumbs are tired. I'm like, I'm done. Like, between that and I love that you squeeze it. Like you said, 15 minutes a day. There's a lot of teachers on here that, like, in between classes, they send out messages. And I'm going to guess, Laura, you connect people in between your messages, in between your massages with Chris and Danny. Am I right?
I have, yes, numerous times.
So anybody can do this.
Biggest assets.
Right? Like, there are a handful of people that do this full time, right? Like Mandy said, reach up and reach out. Like, you don't have to do this by yourself. So when you're working full time, whether you're teaching or massaging people or coaching or, whatever you're doing, in those little cracks as you're thinking of those people, and you're sending the campfire video, connect them with somebody so we can do the work for you, right? Like, and I love that you were like, well, I've been doing a live here or there, and I don't care what I look like, because I will tell you, the more people, you will attract more people the real you are. Like, if you are a sweaty mess, or you're sharing your story and you're not put together perfectly and you're just being you, you're going to have more people drawn to you. Have you experienced that? Like, I get more comments on my videos that I look like garbage just waking up, because I think people go, oh, she looks like garbage too. I love it. I want it. That's great. And so be real, right? Be sweaty, be a mess. Who cares? Like, I think our social media world, while we still compare ourselves to other people, are done with the fake. Like, can you agree? I'm done with the fake. If you're not going to talk to me like a real person, like, we're not going to talk. So, Laura, thank you for sharing. That's incredible. Anything else you want to share, just that you do in your business, being super busy?
Well, yes. So just to get away, and because when I'm home, I'm going to work. You know, I just know that about myself, and I'll go in and I'll just work and I'll fit it into the cracks of my day. But when I'm not here, I'm traveling, and I'm going to see, I have 3 boys, and 2 of them, for the most part, are living out of town. One's up in Washington State. I was just up there, and he and his girlfriend are now drinking ketones, and he is going to take them out on the submarine next time he goes out. He's in the Navy. And then, you know, just things like that. I had 3 KLP parties up in Wyoming, because we go to a ranch up there. I had them on a ranch. I had it at a fundraiser up there for the local firefighting. They're trying to build a new garage for their trucks. And I went to one of my girlfriends owns a health food store in Wheatland, Wyoming. And she's now a promoter, of course. So yeah, that's another way. I always take it when I travel, because I've got my phone, and that's all I use. I have a computer. I don't have a love one, maybe someday, but I'm fine. My phone is my world.
And it looks like you look for opportunities everywhere you go.
Yes.
I love it.
They're there.
Thank you for sharing. I love that story. It was perfect.
I'll see you at hacking.
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so Mandy, did you happen to have anybody that was working like very part-time? Like, did you have a name that you wanted to call on? Because if you didn't, I'm going to do something different.
Okay, so no, because we were talking about, you know, wanting to get some people on that do lots of different things, people who have full-time jobs and fit this into the nooks and crannies of your day. And the one person who would have been perfect for this is at work. So she can't hop on. So it won't say no. You can go do your other little thing.
I'm going to do something real quick. Raise your hand, and I'm going to put this on full screen. If you work this business like part-time, your goal isn't like full-time business. Your goal isn't like, oh, I want to make $1 million right now, maybe someday, but like, you're like, I'm just going to do this when somebody talks to me. Who is working at Becky? Okay, Becky, I'm calling you out. Will you share, what does the business look like for you, and how do you share it? Will you do that for us?
Sure.
I love it. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired. I just got back from the cities at the state fair. So
yeah, she lives in Minnesota. We love the fair. Okay, Becky, what does this business mean to you, and how are you sharing it?
So this business has been pretty amazing for me, actually. I work full time as an HR manager, but in my spare time, just passing people, I just kind of randomly bring up the conversation. And it really kicked off when I had shared it with my cousin who lives next door, and she had been pretty sick with some kidney disease. And I said, let's just try to get some weight loss off of you. And it just kind of spiraled from there. But it's really just a matter of sharing it with my friends and my coworkers at work. And it kind of just has unraveled from there. It sells itself. So it's just one of those things where I'm not really pushing it, but it just kind of happened naturally. And that makes me even more excited and want to do it more. So I don't know. It's just kind of, again, it just sells itself.
No, I love that. That's actually exactly what I was looking for, because I want people to understand, Becky, that like there are people that go, I want to do this. I want to bring my spouse home. Excuse me. Like, I feel like I've got to work all day long. And then there are people who are like Becky, who's like, I'm just going to do it when the conversation comes up, when somebody asks me questions, like, and you never know, Brian always talks about this too, like the one person, right? Like some people go, I had a keto life party and only one person showed up. You never know if that one person will lead you to the one person that really will be an amazing builder. Like you're one person away from finding somebody that really wants to run. You've got people that are fine part-time, people that like want to grind and grind and grind, and both of them are great. Becky, did you want to say something else? It looked like you wanted to talk.
Yep, just one more thing. The other night I don't enter the bar very often. But I went in there the other night because I had a bachelorette party that I had to attend. And a man came up to me and said, hey, you do lives on Facebook. And I'm like, I do actually. And he's like, you know, I've been watching you for quite some time now. And he's like, I'm almost there. And I really want to try a 5-day. I'm just kind of waiting. So I thought that was pretty cool. Somebody I would have never expected would want to do it.
See, and that's consistency of you going, I'll just share when I can. I love that. Hey, Becky, thank you for talking and sharing. I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. So what I want everybody to understand is, especially when you're bringing in new promoters, right? First of all, do you know their goals? Like you should always, always, always be asking. And even if they're not new, like reconnecting with people. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know people's goals on your team? Do you know your own goals? Do you have them written down? Because how do you know? Like I might coach Becky differently than I would follow up with like Mandy. Because I know Mandy does this full time. Like her and I are going to message each other back and forth. And I'm going to go, Mandy, you haven't hit multiplier yet. What are you doing? Like, are you talking?
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Don't say those words.
Mandy, like I know your goals. And if your action, no, just kidding. But like, I also know Becky might not quite be there, but I would go, Becky, how are your lives? I saw you do a live. How are conversations? I would love to connect with people for you. Is this making sense? So we're going to dive into what it looks like to launch people, because I think people are overcomplicating it. Would you agree, Mandy? Like, what are they doing? How are they doing it? How do I launch a promoter? What does that look like? And so that goes back to what Mandy was saying. One thing you can do to launch a promoter, somebody brand new, is do a 10-10 call. Like have them invite their friends. Like Becky said, she talked to her neighbor. She talked to her coworkers. She talked to her friend. And those are the people that she reached out to. Those are the people that you're going to have your promoter invite to a 10-10 call that you're going to lead, or I'm going to lead, or Mandy's going to lead. I want people to understand something. There's no secret to launching a promoter except for the word action. That's it. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a couple ladies, they're probably on here, that are brand new. So we've got Jeannie and Crystal and I gotta look to see Brittany's one, and then there's one more, and don't hate me because I wrote, anyways, so I'll give you an example. I was talking to all these ladies yesterday and I was saying, hey, download the Prove It Pulse, make sure here's your cloud, here's your website. Like, would everybody agree there's a lot of stuff to go through? Like tools and resources and pages, and there's no shortage of stuff, okay? And Steve said, call her. And I was like, babe, I'm trying to talk to everybody. And he's like, pick up the phone and call her. And I was like, stop yelling at me. And so I picked up the phone and I think I called Jeannie first. And I was like, hi. And she was like, hi. And I was like, oh, did I overwhelm you? And so what I want everybody to understand is this. You can give everybody as much information as you want, and you will have all the time to learn it. The biggest thing we need to do when somebody joins as a promoter is get them into action, okay? Mm-hmm. So, hey, you want to build a business? Invite your friends to this 10-10 call. It's going to be just for you. Hey, who do you know that we can text and you can connect me with, and I can help explain what we're doing? Hey, I actually scroll through people's social medias. Mandy, you're great at this, of like, is your social media already prepped for something like this, or do we have to prep it, right? I've got a girl named Crystal. I was like, you are doing great. You share your whole life on social media. We're just going to add a couple things to it. And then I've got another girl. I was like, we're going to stop sharing everybody else's stuff. We're going to prep your social media, show people who you are, and then we're going to add in the ketone conversation. Mm-hmm. You have to get people into action. Okay. Mandy, do you want to say anything on top of that at the moment?
No, it was so good. I think that, like, Stephanie and I were chatting this afternoon, and I think, like, I'm not going to speak for her, although she agreed with me. And I know Jessica and Ashley and I have been talking about this too. Like, I think for those of you that have been here for a while, especially if you're a part of our team, in the very beginning, we did consistently every single week. We did a potential customer Zoom on a Wednesday night, and then like a potential promoter Zoom on a Wednesday night, and then a new promoter launch Zoom on a Thursday night. And our new promoter launch Zoom was like an hour and a half long, and we went through everything, and we were like, how do you do this? And then this is what you do for social media, and this is how you do a keto life party. And it was so long until we literally got so burned out and we hated each other and almost weren't best friends anymore. So that's not really true, but that's what it felt like, I'm sure, because it was too much all of the time. And I think we kind of set this standard. So it's really interesting. We've gotten back to focusing on really launching brand new people who come into our business. Like the minute that pulse goes off and we see somebody joined, we're like, who are they connected to? Who are they connected to? Who are they connected to? Let's launch them. And so we started really talking about it and being verbal about it. And people were like, well, what are you doing? How are you launching them? Tell me all of the things. And so I kind of created a list, and it literally is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little dots on a piece of paper. And it's something that you can actually, in my opinion, something you could do for yourself at the beginning of every single month, really, to launch your own business, like relaunch your own business. But if you look at like launching a new promoter, it's just simple. It's just, this is how you launch somebody, right? Like Stephanie said, it's just to get them to action. So get every single person plugged in. Like the units tab in our promoter page, phenomenal. The resources link that we just created, like phenomenal. Make sure they have that. But don't, like, in my opinion, it's kind of like, I just want to be like, here's this stuff. Learn it as you can. Like, learn it as you can. I don't want to be like, read through all of that and then get back to me. Because by the time you read all that and get back to me, like, you're not fired the freak up anymore about your business because I just made you watch 42 videos and read 13 downloads, right? Like that's not exciting, right? What's exciting, and Jessica said this on a Zoom we did with a couple of new promoters earlier today. She was like, when Mandy picked up the phone and called me, well, we did a Zoom like this, and I don't have a packet in front of me, but when I held up a packet and just said, so I found this stuff and it puts you in ketosis in 60 minutes or less, and I really think this company is amazing and could be life-changing, please come do it with me, right? Like I didn't read a bunch of documents. I didn't watch a bunch of videos. I just called my friend and told her about something. And it was my action and my excitement that made her join. So the key is to get people into action. So get them plugged in, show them where the units and resource tabs are, tell them to look over at their time, and then literally start moving them. Like ask them what their goals are. Like ask them what their goals are. Ask them what they're loving about the product. And if you need to do this for yourself and remind yourself so that you can relaunch on the first of every month, like this is good for you too, right? What are my goals? What do I love about the product, right? And that's what you move with for the entire month. Like I know what my goal is. My goal right now is big. When I first got started, it was $2,000 a month. Now it's 200,000, right? Like, so my action, I know Stephanie was like, damn, it makes me sweaty to say it. That's how I know it's a good goal, because I instantaneously felt sweat come to the top of my skin, right? So it's like my action and my energy has to move towards that. But like the only reason why I'm going to have action that moves me in that direction is because I know what my goals are. So ask what their goals are, ask what they love about the product, and then just the following things. Like getting in front of the people they love, Facebook post, a 10-10 call, a keto life party, one or all of those things depending on what the person's goals are, but just get them to do something. You know, it's the simple stuff. Where's your campfire video? How do you send that out? It doesn't have to be this big ordeal. It's just find out who they are, find out what they want, find out what they love, and give them an avenue to share it, and just do it quickly, right? Like there also I feel like there needs to be a sense of urgency that we remind people about too, you know? Like if I enroll a new promoter today, I don't want to meet her for coffee in 2 weeks. to launch her business. I want to get on the phone with her today and launch her business, right? So that's really just where I wanted to go with that. I think I kind of can take some responsibility for our team feeling like it has to be this really big ordeal, but it doesn't.
Right.
It's like 10 minutes.
Right, 100%. And if you are brand new, just so you know, sometimes we use verbiage where you're like, what? So a KLP is a keto life party. It's just having people over to your house, shaking up ketones, having one of us zoom in, share our story. Easy. Like we can share all different ways, a social media post. A 10-10 call, just so everybody understands, it's 10 minutes of, like, if you invited your friends and you're brand new and you're like, I don't know, I drink ketones. It's one of us doing 10 minutes about the product, because I saw a couple people ask. All it is like, I would explain the product. I would show them the packets. I would say how to drink it. I would give them a couple hacks and go, this is what ketosis and ketones are. And 10 minutes about, here's how you can get it for free. Here's how you can get a smart ship. Here's what our company does. Here's if you want to share it, what it looks like. So it's a really fast call to help educate people for you. That's it. That's all the call is. And so the last thing I wanted to share, anything else on the launching part, Mandy?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Unless people have questions, they can type them in the chat. But I think that was all I had.
Perfect. The last thing I wanted to say is, and Brian keeps hounding me about this, so he's like, where have you been? Where are you going? Are you in front of people? Because what's going to create the stickiness in your business is coming to events or getting together with people actually together. And so just be well aware, brand new people, September 14th is coming up, and it is something called a playbook event. It's a one-day event to where you learn how to do the keto life parties. You learn how to do social media 101. You learn what it means to launch somebody. It's a one-day event all about building this business. And the 4 locations that they're at this time, it's in Las Vegas, Dallas, Louisville, Kentucky, and Philadelphia. If you are near one of those locations or within drivable distance, figure out where you're at, who's going, team up with people. That would be the best thing to do, because you're going to see the community. You're going to love it. It's going to create that fun stickiness. You're going to get there and like hear the heartbeat of like everybody else in the company, and it's phenomenal. And so that would be my action step for you. And then also we've got an event in October called Hacking Better, where you're going to hear the doctors and the scientists and the experts, and team building, personal development, business building. So that one is a must. Get with the person that you're working with and going, how do I get to Hacking Better? Let's get resourceful. And the one last thing I would say that I'm truly working on, and I think all of us should do, is this. Watch. It's not something I'm great at, but going, Mandy, hi Mandy, how are you? I called Mandy today and she's like, oh, Stephanie's calling me. What are we doing? I called Melissa Reddix the other day too, and I called somebody else, and I called somebody else. So
Jack asked me if everything was okay. I was like, yeah, everything's fine. We're talking on the phone. I know it's terrifying.
Myself out and calling people even for 5 minutes, or if the call doesn't work, like Raj is one of our promoters. He's awesome, and he's in Canada, and him and I got on a Zoom today for 10 minutes, and he was like, hey, I need a couple ideas, and we just collaborated, and within 5 minutes, he was like, oh, shoot, I haven't been doing this and this and this. I've got some great ideas. Thank you for talking to me. Like, we need to make sure we're connecting with people on a different level other than Messenger. I love it. And so if it works to Zoom and it's one-on-one, like, set up a 5-minute Zoom, share what you're going through. You might never know if I say something that like makes you get, like Raj was like, we need to do that every week. I'm like, yes, we do. Right. Mm-hmm. Or call somebody and have a 10-minute conversation. It's just different connections to engage your promoters, to engage your team, to create stickiness, and just to grow together. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions, or we can let you all go?
I have one action step I would like to give everybody.
Yes. We need an action step. Go, man.
I feel like that's a must. Like, I get so fired up when I have something to physically do. So besides just challenging everybody to schedule some kind of participate in some way, shape, or form in a 10-10 call this week. Okay. Like, if you've never done one before and you're brand new, or if you've been here for a while and you're not really sure, like, even just listen in on one, right? So you get a feel for it and you know how to move forward and how it will be valuable in your business. So like, participate at some level, either watch one, schedule one, host one, whatever the case may be, do that. But then also for tonight, like today is a family date day. So we already did part of our family date day and then the other parts after this, but we don't have to leave here for an hour and a half. So I'm spending the next hour and a half going back to my last, if you've been here for a while, you can do this with me, going back to my last 5 Freebie Friday posts and messaging every single person who raised their hand that they were interested in winning free ketones and letting them know about the guest pass pricing today. And I would just like to give you a tiny little tip that's been really, really helpful for me. I got a ton of new volume, the last couple of days, and I'm already technically a few, like maybe 500 or 600, I think, in new volume today. And here's a really powerful, and it's really, right now it's 221. I'm just going to tell you it's 221, but somebody ordered accidentally and it went to the wrong website. And so I'm like, I wanted to stab myself in the eye, but I know support will fix it. So I'll get it eventually. But a powerful piece of verbiage that I've been using when I message people about the sale this weekend is that I'm not saying it's a sale. I'm saying I have a guest pass that you can use, like that will allow you to get my pricing, right? So when it's brand new people and you haven't really talked to them about the difference between being a customer and a promoter yet, a lot of people think that like promoters get better prices than customers. It's just this common thing that a lot of companies in our industry do, which is technically not permissible, but it happens anyway. So like I always just say, hey, Leah, I know you raised your hand a couple weeks ago and you wanted to, you entered the contest for free ketones. If you're still interested in trying it out, I have a guest pass I can give you for today that'll allow you to have my pricing. Let me know if you're interested. And there's something about that verbiage that has just been like, oh my gosh, well, how do I get a guest pass? Do you have a code? And I'll be like, oh no, it's all set up for you if you shop on this link. So like, it's just the way you say the words sometimes that can change somebody's like the way they think about it. So just, if you want to do this with me, this is how I'm spending the next 90 minutes. I'm going back to my last 5 Freebie Fridays and I'm sending a message like that. Hey, Teresa, I remember you entered the contest last week for free ketones, so I know you're curious about them. This would be a really great time to get started because I have a guest pass that I can share with you today, right? So I'm just going to challenge you all to do that and see how many people you can get into conversations between now and the end of our incredible sale today. So that's my action step for today.
I love it. I love it. And if you're brand new and you didn't do that, just make a list of people you want to talk to and start talking to them. Don't mess up good for perfect. What do you know about ketones? Share your story and connect them with somebody. That's it. Okay. We're going to let you all go. We did that really fast. Good job. Woo! Okay. Thank you everybody for sharing. Have a great week and we will talk to you later.
Bye guys.